do you know when it's time to leave a boarding stable? In this video, I'm not going to talk to you about you're leaving a boarding stable because you're moving or you're putting your horse in training or you're looking for better amenities. I'm talking about when to leave a boarding stable because your horse's health, welfare, and safety are in jeopardy. If you've been in the horse world for more than like 5 minutes, you know that relationships can deteriorate quickly, horse care can go downhill, and your entire horse lifestyle can just go to hell in a handbasket in the course of a weekend. So sometimes you need to know when it's time to leave a boarding stable. Just like in the real world, there are good stables and bad stables. And I don't know if it's just something special about the horse world, but there does seem to be a little extra drama when we get horses involved. This is why it's super important to keep a close eye on your horse and basically be their advocate and make sure that you're looking out for them, because you just can't always count on a stable to do that. I mean, in a perfect world, yes, but in the real world where a lot of us have had these experiences, you need to be looking out for your horse. I've been at barns where care has started off really good and then steadily declined. These places can be really hard to leave because there's good days and bad days. And the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So you start to make these pros and cons lists and you're like, well, it's not too bad as long as I can go look at my horse every single day, look at their legs and their eyes and everything like that. But that's really no way to live. And I've been there, I have friends who've been there, and I know what it's like, but you shouldn't have to look at your horse every day to make sure it's okay if you're paying somebody to care for it and feed it and look at it. I know that moving barns can be like super scary, and moving to a new barn also has a lot of question marks. You don't know what it could be like, or who knows how it's gonna look a year from now. But sometimes if the red flags are just popping up and too much stuff is going on, you know sooner or later you're gonna have to find a new place. Some of the issues that have caused me to leave a barn in the past include being stingy with feed, not feeding enough hay, my horse is losing weight and condition. I know that boarding stables have a bottom line and they have to make a living and things like that too, but when you're cutting corners and it's coming at the expense of the horse's weight and condition, then we have to do something about it. If it's gonna cost more to feed my horse, I'm okay with that. Within reason, I'm happy to pay extra to make sure that my horse is getting enough feed that they need. What I'm not okay with is cutting corners and skimping on feed and my horse losing weight. That's a problem for me, a huge problem. Another reason that has caused me to leave a stable in the past is not keeping a close eye on my horses. And I'm not asking for you to pick their hooves and take their temperature and do a lot of stuff like that. I just want you to look at my horse and call me if I need to have a vet out or my horse needs some kind of medical attention. That's important to me. That's like a bare minimum. I'm counting on the barn owner or manager, whoever's feeding, to call me or text me or let me know if something is going on with my horse. If I come out 5 minutes after you fed and my horse has an injury or something going on, and you clearly saw this horse and looked at it to feed it and you didn't tell me about it, we've got a problem. One place I was at, my horse continued to have eye issues and she had to wear a fly mask all the time. And if she didn't have a fly mask on, her eyes would puff up. And I went out there right after feeding time, horses had just eaten and her eyes were so puffy. She looked like she got punched by Mike Tyson. Her eyes were weeping. And I asked the barn manager, did you see this? Like, you have to let me know. And he legitimately said, oh, owners are better at noticing this stuff than me. And I'm like, that's not an acceptable answer. You work at a horse farm. You need to be able to see what's going on. And I know that you saw her eyes and just didn't want to be bothered with it. So that was one of the last straws at the place I was at there while I was like scrambling to find another place. If there's something wrong at your barn every time you go out, if the fencing is down or you have other kind of problems, water buckets are empty, if there's something wrong every time you go out and you only go out a couple times a week, how does that place look 24 hours a day if you're the one catching issues? And this is another problem I've had at places in the past. I can't be the one to find and fix problems because I'm worried about the other, 23 hours a day I'm not there, however many days a week I'm not there. If you feel like you're the only one finding injured horses or keeping an eye on other things on the farm, that's a problem. That's a huge red flag. Okay, so those are reasons why I've left a barn for like horse care reasons, but sometimes the horse care is fine, but the drama is getting out of control, and I have had to leave a barn before due to drama, and that's just, it happens. There's a lot of big personalities and things like that in the horse world, and if you're not clicking and things are going wrong, you just have to get out of there. If you have a horse, unless you're like independently wealthy, I don't know any of these people, but I guess they exist, you are spending your hard-earned money on a boarding stable, and this is your escape from your job, whatever problems in the world. Like, this is your therapy. This is your happy place during the week or the weekend or however often you get out. And you don't need to go there just to feel like anxious or be bullied or things like that. That's not fair, and that's, no matter how good the horse care is, that is not a good reason to stay in a barn. If you're dealing with somebody with like a Jekyll and Hyde personality, or you have to walk on eggshells just to go spend time with your horse, that's not a good investment for you, and your horse is gonna feed off of that too. Like, if you're stressed out, your horse isn't gonna be having a great day either. They're gonna feed off of your energy as well. Whether you're leaving a barn because the horse care is going down or you're being bullied or things like that, just know that I have been there. I know how anxious and stressful and awful it is to go through this, but when it's time to leave a boarding barn, it's time to leave. So do what you gotta do. Find your horse a new barn, and definitely go check out that video of how to find a boarding barn if you need help there. And just know that I've been there. I completely know what you're going through, and I know how stressful it is. And I know that you're gonna come out of this with a better boarding barn and a better situation soon. So definitely like this video if it helped you out. Subscribe to my channel, it really helps me. And until next time, happy trails.